Hi, my name is Shirley, and I will explain what a home UPS system is. This is InverTech's smallest home UPS system, which comprises of a 1000-watt inverter charger and two 225 amps deep cycle battery. This equipment will automatically and instantly switch on during a blackout, so that your appliances keep running. It is capable of running all your lights, TVs, fans, security cameras, computers, gate motors, etc. for around 6 to 8 hours. And if you need more time, more batteries may be added. Also, you may use a big inverter for a larger home. This is how it works. The current comes in from GPL into the inverter and then out again to your breaker panel, where your appliances get power from. When there is a blackout, the inverter instantly switches on to pull current from the deep cycle batteries connected. So to cause a blackout, I will disconnect power, and let's observe how fast the automatic switchover operates. Here goes the blackout. As you can see, that we are now running on battery power for the next 6 to 8 hours, and our appliances did not suffer a blackout. When the current returns, the equipment will automatically confirm that voltage and frequency are normal. Then automatically switch back to the power company. Then it will charge your batteries until full and wait for another blackout. InverTech will help you to add solar panels to the system so that it becomes a full solar setup that uses only the sun to power your home. We have our intelligent equipment that can even switch off GPL automatically and use solar power alone to run your house. This is designed to reduce your light bill significantly. Thank you guys for your time today. Remember, we are located at 58 David Street, PT. Our numbers are 223-2233 or 695-9191.
ESSEQUIBO businessman shot dead during a police operation. Locals block streets in protest. Man tried to escape to the United States after attempting murder deported. Body found floating in the Berbice River. In the region, humanitarian crisis for Mexico's migrants impacts southern town, and internationally, child labor worsens in India due to COVID pandemic. Greetings and welcome to another edition of Channel 2 Headline News Updates. I am Berbice. Thank you for joining us. A 29-year-old shopkeeper of Dartmouth, ESSEQUIBO, was shot and killed early this morning during an anti-crime operation conducted by the Ghana Police Force. Around 4 a.m., the ranks went to the home of 29-year-old Orrin Boston, a shopkeeper of the Ease Mistress Bar, and conducted a search. According to a police report, there was a confrontation between Orrin Boston and the police, resulting in him being shot to his upper left arm. Boston was rushed to the Saudi Public Hospital, where he was pronounced dead on arrival. According to the wife of the now dead man, Fiona Boston, her husband was shot in his bed after police kicked down their door without any warning nor a search warrant to gain entry into their home. Commissioner of Police Acting Nigel Hoppy has instructed that the ranks from the police force of professional responsibility immediately commence a thorough investigation into the matter. Residents of the community began burning tires and other materials on the main roadway in Dartmouth after the tragedy, blocking the road and obstructing traffic flow. Even as police ranks on the ground are making vigorous efforts to clear the roadway and maintain control of the situation, the Ghana Police Force is calling on citizens to desist from this unlawful activity and allow for due process to take its course with the ongoing investigations. Meanwhile, in a statement, The People's National Congress reform expressed concerns about the way the Special Weapons and Tactics Unit action this morning ended in the death of Orrin Boston. The PNCR calls on the Guyana Police Force and the Government of Guyana to employ all necessary resources to ensure that this matter is treated with expedience and professionalism. A thorough investigation into the circumstances which led to Mr. Boston's demise must be conducted, and wherever there are breaches in the standard operating procedures of the forces, those responsible must face the law and the consequences. The People's National Congress reform is deeply concerned that this killing does not languish similarly to the murder of Henry Boyce and urges the Government of Guyana to discharge its duties to the people of Guyana by having both matters expeditiously and professionally completed. A man who tried to escape to the United States on Monday after an attempted murder was deported today. Here is Esther Sobers with that report.
A man who allegedly set fire to his wife and attempted to flee to the United States was returned on an early Wednesday morning flight. Ghanaian Sue Charan, a taxi driver of Riverton, Berbice, was denied entry into the United States and was extradited to Guyana. Ghanaian Sue Charan was wanted by police in connection with the attempted murder of his wife, whom he set on fire during an argument at their home on late Sunday night in Quarantine, Berbice. Sue Charan was able to board an American Airlines flight to the United States at 5:26 p.m. on Tuesday, September 14, 2021. In a statement, Crime Chief Wendell Blanham said local authorities obtained information that Sue Charan had fled the country to the United States. U.S. law enforcement officials were informed of Sue Charan's wanted status by the Guyana Police Force. When Sue Charan arrived in the United States, he was denied entry and returned to Guyana, where he was arrested. According to reports, the man and his wife got into an argument late Sunday night and she doused herself in kerosene. Sue Charan allegedly took his wife's lighter and lit the bottom of her dress. The woman responded by rolling around on the ground, effectively putting out the fire. She was rushed to the Port Moran Public Hospital and later transferred to New Amsterdam Public Hospital. There, she was treated for burns all over her body she sustained during the fire. She is currently in a critical condition. Headline News will keep you updated as police investigations continues. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. 24 vaccinated Guyana Defense Force cadet officers in training have been tested positive for COVID-19. The ranks who are currently at Camp Madwini displayed no symptoms of COVID-19 but were tested for COVID in keeping with the new policy of the GDF. According to a reliable source, the situation is being handled. However, the number of positive cases and COVID-19 related deaths continue to rise in Guyana even as the government continues to roll out the COVID-19 vaccination drive. As of yesterday, there were 135 new cases, 31 persons in ICU, 149 persons in institutional isolation, 2,841 in home isolation, 20 persons in institutional quarantine, and 692 deaths. Persons are reminded to follow the COVID-19 guidelines, wear a mask in public, wash their hands, and keep socially distanced. If you or anyone you know are experiencing COVID-like symptoms, you can contact the hotline on 231-1166 or their website on www.health.gov.gy. Don't go away after the break. Police are investigating the circumstances surrounding the death of Kevin Diabru, who was found floating in the Berbice River, and devastated accident in Berbice region.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brick Dam and White Castle Fish Shop. Be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
For decades, milk has remained the same. Until now. Introducing the Great Dairy Full Cream Milk from Alabama Trading. Enriched with vitamins A to D and calcium to promote healthy teeth, strong bones, and vitality. Great Dairy Milk is delicious and fortified to encourage healthy cell growth within the body. No wonder it's the #1 brand of milk produced in Ireland. Now available nationwide in 400-gram packages at leading supermarkets and wholesale vendors. Distributed by Alabama Trading.
Welcome to Kissoon's Furniture. Find everything you need for your home and more under one roof in our newly decorated showroom. Our locally crafted furniture has been perfected over the last 60 years. From our hands to your home, we also bring to you our newly introduced lines of imported furniture and sleep center, where you can find a wide range of beds and mattresses. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 60 years.
Survival Shopping Complex brings to you its delivery service, Shop through WhatsApp. This process is simple. All you need to do is call or message your grocery list to 613-9683 and we will select your items for you and have them delivered directly to you, even out of town. This is convenient because we can stay on the phone with you as we select your favorite brands. We're happy to do your shopping for you. Contact us on WhatsApp today and shop Price Smart at Survival Shopping Complex.
Welcome back. Police are investigating the circumstances surrounding the death of Kevin Diabru, who was found dead afloat in the Berbice River. More from Esther Silvers.
The dead body of a man was found afloat in the Berbice River on Tuesday morning. The body has been identified as 24-year-old Kevin Diabru, a farmer of Wairuni Village, Upper Berbice River. His lifeless body was found around 11 a.m. According to a police report, the young man was last seen drinking with friends at a shop on Sunday, September 12th around 6 p.m. Later, he left in a boat and was not seen until September 14, afloat in the Berbice River, dead. The police rank attached to the Kwani police station retrieved the body. Upon investigation by police officer, the Diabru's face was mutilated and there appeared to be a wound in his neck region. An autopsy is expected as police investigate the circumstances surrounding the death of Kevin Diabru. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Silvers.
Thanks, Esther. A Ghana Police Force Lance Corporal was arrested for having a sexual relationship with a child under the age of 16. The incident reportedly spanned from September 14, 2020 to September 14, 2021 in Region 1. The matter, however, only came to light on Tuesday. The matter was reported to the police and the suspect was arrested. A preliminary investigation into the matter revealed that the victim and the suspect shared a relationship for 1 year. Investigations are ongoing. In this report, Esther Sobers tells us about yet another devastating accident in the Berbice area. Here's more.
An accident on the number 70 public road in Quarantine, Berbice has left 2 persons hospitalized. According to reports last evening around 8:37 p.m., 38-year-old Ulrich Ramkissoon, a hire car driver from Queenstown, Caribbean, Berbice, was transporting 23-year-old Methuselah John, a security guard attached to the Ogle Airport of Diamond Housing Scheme, East Bank, Demerara. The report further stated the driver of the hire car was proceeding north, speeding along the western drive lane. The driver lost control of the vehicle for unknown reasons and collided with a culvert and the ridge of 2 bridges. The car flipped over and came to a stop on the road's eastern side. The driver and passenger were semi-conscious with injuries to their bodies when they were extracted from the wrecked vehicle and transported to Skeldon Public Hospital. The passenger suffered a fractured left shoulder while the driver was transported to the Georgetown Public Hospital for injuries to his left shoulder, left foot, and spine. His condition is regarded as serious but stable. The police investigation is still ongoing. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. Don't go off to the break. Humanitarian crisis for Mexico's migrants impacts southern town, and UK announces COVID booster shot plans for older, vulnerable groups. But before that, here's the bridge retraction schedule.
Survival Shopping Complex brings to you its delivery service, Shop Through WhatsApp. This process is simple. All you need to do is call or message your grocery list to 613-9683 and we will select your items for you and have them delivered directly to you, even out of town. This is convenient because we can stay on the phone with you as we select your favorite brands. We're happy to do your shopping for you. Contact us on WhatsApp today and shop price smart at Survival Shopping Complex.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for do a surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Kingdom-based taxi service, transportation for every occasion. Short drop, airport, weddings, funerals, and much more. We're located at Lot H. Durbin and Vicingen Road, next to Green City Bar. For honest, efficient, and reliable service, call Kingdom-based taxi service at 648-5959 or 227-7937. You can count on us.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at news in the region and around the world. Migrants in a southern Mexican border town are facing appalling conditions and abuse as they are prevented from leaving Tapachula, according to rights group. Al Jazeera's Manuel Rapallo reports.
There's a humanitarian crisis unfolding in southern Mexico. For months, waves of migrants and asylum seekers, mainly from Haiti and Central America, have poured into the city of Tapachula. Migrants' rights advocates say a national policy by the Mexican government aimed at preventing migrants from making their way north toward the United States has turned the city into an open-air prison for refugees.
Tapachula is a living hell. It is an illegal prison because nowhere in the law does it say that migrants can only be kept in one city. The streets have turned into concentration centers. Mexican immigration laws are being perverted and manipulated in order to appease the United States.
The streets of Tapachula are packed with migrants. This woman, who has asked us to conceal her identity, is one of more than 35,000 Haitian nationals currently stuck in Tapachula. She says food and shelter are in short supply and that the situation here grows more dire by the day.
What we make in a day is not enough for food, and many of us migrants are sleeping in the park on top of each other, begging for food. If Mexico's president doesn't do something for us, people are going to begin to steal, and we don't want that. What we want is help and to allow us to keep moving.
Since the start of the year, Mexico's national immigration strategy has been one of containment. In Tapachula, hundreds of migrants queue up outside the city's immigration offices almost every day. Here, confusion reigns and tensions are on the rise.
The vast majority of people we've encountered outside this government office building say they're growing desperate, without a clear answer from authorities as to what it's going to take to obtain the necessary paperwork and finally be allowed to leave Tapachula.
Despite promises from Mexican political leaders to respect the rights of migrants and asylum seekers, those who try to leave Tapachula without the necessary paperwork are quickly rounded up. And local journalists continue to document cases of abuse and excessive force from authorities.
We need to recognize that these individuals that are making this very risky journey are in very difficult and vulnerable situations. As we've discussed, there are many women and children who are actually unaccompanied. That means they do not have a family member or a guardian going with them. Sometimes children who are very, very young age. And so what all governments need to do that are involved in managing migration is that they need to make sure that these human rights are respected and that these very vulnerable people are protected.
Migrant shelters in this part of the country have reached maximum capacity, and some have experienced outbreaks of COVID-19. Coupled with a lack of access to adequate health care, growing security concerns, and a national policy that prevents people from leaving, the situation is quickly growing beyond the ability of authorities to control. Manuel Rapalo, Al Jazeera, Tapachula, Mexico.
And internationally, the UK's Prime Minister Boris Johnson says a booster jab will be recommended to all over 50s as part of the government's COVID-19 plan for winter. Vaccinations will also be extended to include 12 to 15-year-olds. Al Jazeera's Andrew Simmons reports.
More vaccinations, no lockdowns is the message from the UK's Prime Minister, along with the admission that this time last year the rate of infections was much lower.
In one way, our position today is actually more challenging. We have higher levels of daily cases, thousands more. But in many other crucial respects, the British people, all of us collectively and individually, are incomparably better placed to fight the disease.
Over 50s will get booster vaccinations. School children between 12 and 15 can now be vaccinated. The government believes this will be enough to bolster an already successful vaccine program that has greatly reduced the rate of people dying from COVID. The number of people dead now stands at 134,000. While an image like the National Memorial Wall should ensure no one forgets the vast scale of losses to COVID in the UK, across the River Thames, the government is projecting a new phrase, living with COVID. It's the new normal. And that comes with lifting many restrictive laws and dropping plans for COVID passports for major events and nightclubs, showing full vaccination or recent negative tests.
I think it's a huge mistake, yeah. It's typical of them boys over there doing a U-turn.
Freedom is what we fight for, and that's what we should have.
While England is dropping the passport plan, Scotland is imposing one. And in Europe, despite sometimes fierce resistance, countries such as France, Germany and Belgium are using passports to good effect.
What we've seen throughout this pandemic is that Britain, England in particular, stays as an outlier for many months while other countries get on and do the right thing, only in the end to relent and do that same thing ourselves. So it could well be the vaccine passports are a broad success in other countries and eventually the UK government introduces them for England as well.
The government says a lockdown would be a last resort, but a plan B would mean COVID passports and other measures. However, there's some unease about not using face masks and other risks inside buildings.
I certainly think that some venues are riskier than others, and we should, I think, in some venues still be requiring distancing. And I also think we should be investing in much better ventilation systems.
And the fact that more cautious countries in Europe have lower infection rates than the UK doesn't convince some that death rates won't start climbing again. Andrew Simmons, Al Jazeera, London.
And finally, India's COVID-19 pandemic has forced schools to close and left many families struggling to survive. As a result of the number of working children, more than 10 million in India, according to Census 2011 of India data, may be double that number now, says child rights campaigners. Al Jazeera's Elizabeth Purnanam reports.
These are the youngest journalists in the city of Firozabad. They're working on the next edition of their unique magazine. Balvani Bachcho Ki Awaaz, or The Voice of Children, is a magazine by and for young people about child labour and their rights.
The stories that we write for the magazine are all related to children and inform readers about the reality of our town. When we share these stories with government officials, it helps them understand the difficulties that children face.
14-year-old Kamini has been contributing to the magazine for 2 years. She lives in an impoverished area of Firozabad where entire families are employed in the glass bangles industry. She convinced one neighbour to stop her 3 daughters aged between 9 and 12 from working and send them to school instead.
We have 5 children and no one to help us. So when we were in financial difficulty, we asked the children to work. A lot of children here work, and at home our children started helping us when we were going through a rough patch.
Sarita Devi sent her children back to school when her husband recovered from an illness and could work again, but not everyone would do the same. Firozabad's glass bangles industry is 200 years old, and the factories are known for their poor working conditions. Generations of families have been employed in the trade, although many work from home.
When we walk through these narrow lanes of Firozabad, we can see many children making bangles. Rights groups say school closures because of coronavirus and then an outbreak of dengue fever mean more children are forced to work because they don't have access to online learning.
In this home, children as young as 6 sit in front of small flames using the heat to join broken glass bangles. They do this for up to 8 hours a day. Child labour is illegal in India, but rights groups say it's difficult to stop those working at home.
We had child labour 10 million in 2011. I'm doubling it only and primarily because of COVID as well. So I think what we can say, coronavirus has been impacting the world over. But in India, the issues that we always had have amplified to an extent which is actually quite scary.
The release of this year's Voice of Children magazine has been delayed due to lockdowns, but Kamini and her team are now putting the final touches on the issue, knowing their work has never been more important. Elizabeth Puranam, Al Jazeera, Firozabad, Uttar Pradesh.
And that is it for today's regional and international news. Here now is your 3-day weather forecast. And that is it for this edition of Channel 2 Headline News Update. Tune in on Thursday at 7 p.m. for another episode. Be sure to subscribe, like, and follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Until then, take care of yourself and each other.